Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Wound Pickups.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast, the podcast where we are on. That's the tagline. Welcome. We've got a really fantastic show today, wherever you are. We're featuring, we have a split personality of sorts. That's what we're featuring on the show today. And split personality, who might you be?
My name is Doug Christ. I am the, as I call it, the head muckety-muck at 37 FX.
And?
Maker of, I've also got a couple of podcasts I do. I am a co-host of the Masters of the Cinematic Universe podcast. We do deep dives into movies. And I'm also a co-host of the Just Surprise Me podcast. And then to wrap it up, I am also a Patreon of these fine gentlemen.
That's right. You have been for a very long time.
Yeah.
So you're more like what's the dragon with all the heads?
The Hydra?
Hydra. You're more a Hydra. Right. You're a Hydra.
Yeah, I got a lot going on late in life.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. I may have to talk to you about that film podcast later.
All right. Cool.
I'm a junkie. So not a film junkie, just to be clear, not other kind of junkie. But
I'll lay it out there real quick. There's an open invitation if you want to do an episode.
Oh man, I would love to. All right. See how I just invited myself on your show?
Nice. It's all good.
Nice.
It's all good. We'd be thrilled to have you. So
Fantastic.
Yes, open invitation for any of you, all three of you.
No,
absolutely.
Not that. Me.
Okay.
Doug, right. What's your favorite movie?
We just did that. Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke. Oh, that is an awesome movie. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But what's number two? That's the big question.
See, this is difficult because I generally don't number things. Cool Hand Luke is the only one I'll number. I've got like a top 10 and a top 15. And
what was the first thing that came to your mind when I asked that?
Tombstone.
Ooh, good one.
Love that flick too. Just because it's so
I would love to have a tattoo
watchable.
that says I'm your Huckleberry. Oh man. Well, what a fantastic line.
There's a story to that later in the podcast. So
excellent.
Hey, Jared, how many hard-boiled eggs can you eat?
That depends.
How many chickens are there?
Nobody can eat 50 eggs.
Anyways, well, fantastic. This is going to be super duper fun. We're going to talk to Doug about his pedal endeavor. And then also we want to hear from him as a longtime patron of the show. And we're actually going to be featuring some other ones. I think I've mentioned that already, but specifically we're going to be reaching out to our Grand Poobahs and getting them on the show and just talk to them because their enthusiasm for the guitar community, pedals, effects, amps, people, constantly talking to people is infectious and needed and welcomed. So tonight we've got one of those special peoples on. So here we go. We're going to get moving along with a few announcements. And we need to thank Road. Now, see, Jared, I was wondering if you're going to do the rolly bit, and you didn't. And I appreciate that you're like, hey, I'm going to throw Todd a curveball here. That's
you mean
fine.
like this?
Yes, thank you. We do need to thank Rode for providing the Rodecaster Pro and the Procaster mics. Fantastic stuff that we got from these chaps down in Australia. So thank you very much. It keeps us going.
Love it. I love the microphones. I love the articulating arms, and I love the Podcaster Pro. What is it?
Well, you really put your big toe in that one, didn't you?
Tell you this much. Whatever it is.
Rodecaster Pro.
Roadcaster.
Reliable.
Yeah. I'm looking at 3 other empty mics here at my table, which I'm very sad about. Well, mic stands anyways. So we also have, we got a really fantastic letter, Jared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's your cue. Remember from last one? You were supposed to think of something new.
Okay, you got me. I'll do one. I got it already.
All right. We got a great letter.
Okay. Mail call.
Well, it doesn't.
Is that too simple?
You can do better than that, Jared.
Yeah, I give that a 3.
Yeah.
Mail call.
One more. Give it one more.
WKRP in Cincinnati here? What's going on?
Best of 3. Come
Okay,
on,
here we go. We want a mail call.
Oh, no, golly.
No.
We're going downhill fast.
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
We have a mail call. No, I don't like
Stop.
How about the we got a mail call for you.
Army, Navy, Air Force,
All right, that's
Marine.
enough. We'll stop there. I can't take it anymore.
All right.
All right. So let me just share this with y'all real quick. This is from Claudio Cunha. This says, howdy from below the equator, which is a really funny subject line. It says, hey there, knobs. Claudio Cunha here, longtime listener from Brazil.
Brazil.
Just wanted to point out that you guys help a lot to get through this troubled times of late. How things have changed. I have memories of driving to work, listening to the podcast when the commute was a thing. 10 months later, I listen to you guys while grinding my morning coffee, getting ready for home office duties. In a way, we are going through this together. And when things settle to a new version of normal life, travel included, I'll have the house open to welcome you to some tropical weather. Jared will love the food. Hope you guys have a great year full of warm tubes. Catch back with you later.
Nice.
I mean, if
That's
that
super.
doesn't flippin' make your heart get real big and smile, I don't know what will. Thank you so much, Claudio, for sending that.
I believe Jared is familiar with the Brazilian steakhouses. Are you not, Jared?
They are with him.
That's the one where you have the unlimited food, of course.
Yeah. How many have you been banned from?
Yeah, they bring Jared. That's on a baseball bat.
You promise not to bring that up.
I'm sorry.
He's never tapped out.
No, for real though. In reality, Wolf of Wolf Tone Pickups.
Oh, that's right. That's
You
right.
can out eat me any
Wow.
day. I'm never. He's not a very big person, but the dude, I don't know how he does it. He should be a professional.
I think he has two
hot dog
hollow
contest.
legs.
Yeah, he does. He goes to that place, and I swear, I thought they were going to run out of meat.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's great.
I was like getting sick just watching them eat that much.
Yeah, that's one of those places. Those Brazilian steakhouses where you go and you're like, "This is the best thing," and then after about 15 minutes, you're like, "This is the worst. This is
I know.
bad. This is not
Sweats
good."
kick in.
And then the next day,
You pay a big
You still
price.
smell like it days later.
Yeah.
You smell like a Brazilian barbecue. For
My
Yeah.
wife says you get the meat sweats.
Do they
Oh,
have
yeah.
a lot of Brazilian barbecues up there, Sully?
Yes, they do. Sully. I love it. It's a combination. I mean, we've got there's a very large Portuguese population in my neck of the woods, and they do a very similar style with the barbecue. So it's
Nice.
I love it. I love having the availability to it because I do enjoy it every now and then.
I'm afraid to know how much barbecue chicken and barbecue brisket I could eat. I'm afraid to know.
So with the
'Cause I-
chickens,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Well, anyways, lots of Brazilian barbecue jokes. Thanks, Claudio, for sending that. We really appreciate it. I'm sure we're going to hear more from him.
and we'll
in the
be
future.
down. We'll be down in maybe next fall.
Yes.
Brazil.
Right on. Okay, we need to move on to what's going on in our music worlds this week, gentlemen, and Tony.
Okay. Of course.
So we'll kick it off with Tony Baloney and then head on over to Doug.
Well, let's see. So this week I've been making friends with something new. I was helping our good friend John Fintel at Relay Recording pick out a Voxy style amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
And John actually got the best deal in the world. He managed to pick up a Dr. Z Moz 38, which is, to me, that's the quintessential Dr. Z amplifier. It's basically an AC30 on steroids, 2x12 cabinet, and he just got it for a song. And in our discussions, we had been talking about reverb, tube reverb heads. In the 60s, Fender had a separate tube reverb head that you plugged into, and then that went into a Showman or a Twin or whatever. And that's the quintessential surf sound. And in searching at various places for the Dr. Z Moz 38, I stumbled across a Dr. Z Z-Verb, which is the Dr. Z's version of the Fender tube head. So it's a tube reverb unit. Sounds incredible. Mine is an older unit, so it's a little bit different. There's a couple of weird things about it.
That's funny.
If you stack them, the older units have an issue with the reverb tank picking up the electromagnetic hum from the transformers below. So you kind of have to keep the head off to the side. Z has since flipped basically the tank to the top of the unit on newer things, but I really mine's really cool. It's got blonde Tolex and it sounds just like a tube reverb unit. So I'm very happy about that.
Very, very cool indeed.
Nice.
I had the pleasure of plugging into that when I got to the studio last week. And I was actually really afraid for my ears. John had that thing turned up so loud. And so even with the master volume, I was like, my goodness, that thing is so loud. So loud. But man, did it sound good.
Yep.
I instantly said, well, now apparently I have to get, like a Moz 18 because there's no way I could do that one. But wow.
Yeah. Well, the 18's a nice one too, but like I said, the 38 is definitely. I mean, if you like the AC30 sound, and you want an American made right here in Cleveland, Ohio, or near Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, they're handmade. We watched them being made by hand. Which means that they're easy to repair. And actually, Rob Chafe, who we've had on several times, we asked him, pound for pound, all of the amps that you've ever repaired, like, what is the best? We couldn't even finish the sentence. And he said, Dr. Z.
Yep.
So, wow.
Yep.
Anyhow, cool. Thanks, Tony.
No worries.
Doug, what's going on in your music world?
All right. So I stepped into, for me, some uncharted territory this week. I decided to go low and got my first bass and bass amp.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I'm relatively new back in the game. We can talk about that maybe a little later, but I'm still doing a lot of exploration. I mean, we all do. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing, but I decided it was time. I mean, I'm a self-professed mediocre guitar player, so I felt as though it was time to be a mediocre bass player. And I have a long way to go to even get that far with it, because I learned very quickly that it's a different animal. It's got strings and it feels the same, but it's different.
Fine. You'll be
no, fine. I know. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a great time with it.
So what'd you get?
I kept it simple. I went with the Ibanez Talman, the 100.
Yeah.
And I got the Ampeg 110, the 40 watt with a 10-inch speaker. Just enough to make it loud. But I'm playing in the house, so that's all I needed.
Those Talman basses have been incredibly popular. I probably have made 50 guards in the last year for the various, the TMB 100, 300,
yep,
10s. They're really nice instruments.
They are. For the price, you can't beat it. I mean, and so I'm just confirming you have a template for that then.
I do, but here's as I warn everyone, and whether it's a Squier, Ibanez, whatever, even Fenders, even Gibsons, it's always best to send in the guard because screw holes are off.
Right.
Can differ a little bit. So it's always best to send the original one in.
Well, we might be talking soon because I can't help but tinker. But anyway, yeah, that's been my thing this week. I've been playing it. I got it Monday. I've been playing it, since I haven't touched a guitar actually in a few days. So I'm having fun. So, it's just something new. But, that'll allow me to test, pedals on bass as well as guitar and, maybe even focus on something like that down the road. We'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a good week.
Right on. Yeah, I like that body style on a bass. I think that's cool. It mixes it up a little bit without being goofy.
Yeah, it's sort of offsetish, but not really, not fully. But yeah, I definitely, I was drawn to it when I saw it. For that
doesn't
reason.
look anything like a Nova.
Yeah, and it's also got a shorter scale too, does it not?
No, this one's the full. This is a 34. Yeah, they have they do sell. They have the micro, but this is the full size.
Okay, cool.
Right on. Jared, how about yourself?
Oh, a couple of things. For one, I decided to get me a 29 pedals unipedal.
Ooh, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to hearing that.
Me too. And all the first gen that he did I believe they're all sold. And, you might find one down the line and whatever, but I got a newer one and I'm okay with that. And I'm looking forward to it. And the other next thing is my buddy Brian Rapico lives around our parts. Actually, lives quite west of us. He sent me a song to work on. It was a drummer in a band I was in maybe 10, 15, 10 years ago. Great, talented drummer. So I felt really humbled that he sent me some stuff that he's been writing, and it sounds really cool. So I think I'm going to work with him. The other project I was in, we kind of put that down for a while, mainly because of COVID and stuff, and so we probably won't get together for a long while. So this other thing with Brian is kind of a new spark. And it feels good when someone's like, hey, man, I did this thing. Check it out. It kind of, I'm by no means am a professional guy. Like I wouldn't survive in Nashville. But I guess I know enough to get myself in trouble. So it's very humbling when somebody sends me something they wrote and they took the time to record. But one thing that I have to do is download Pro Tools to be able to add on to his project. So
wow, that's expensive.
Yeah, I think it's like $32 a month or something. Or
you can get it per month. Yeah, per month.
Yeah, they're doing subscriptions on those now.
That's good.
I have a Focusrite, and that comes with I think 32 months of that. But I have to somehow remember how to redeem that to get that. But I think I'm going to do that and see if I can work that enough to record some guitar tracks. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. And the Rewind Time show is going really well. It's a really short show, but people are digging it.
That's the selling point.
Yeah, it's short and it won't take your time. Just listen to it real quick.
For long.
Literally. So I mean, I everybody knows I have a hard time conveying
you
anything.
Do a great job on that.
Head anyway.
Oh,
so.
Definitely. No, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a great way for people to get to know you beyond this. I think it's a really great idea that you had there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's going okay. So that's about it.
Right
man.
on.
Nice and exciting. What about you?
Well, I've got. Well,
what about you, Todd?
Thank you. I have I've got a good birthday coming up this year, and my wife was like, "So what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I would really like to. I'd like to get some guitar gear." And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" And because I actually really don't afford myself much of that because I got a lot of responsibilities. Got 3 kids and a house and all that business, and so it's. I've spent a lot of time looking around. Let me just say that. Yeah. So I'm just soaking it all in right now. And, as a result of the show, I have exposure to a lot of people that we've had on the show whose guitars and such that I'm like, it's just fun. It's kind of like, well, someone gets to go maybe looking around here. I don't know what that means yet. Maybe nothing. Who knows? Because she doesn't have any idea how much anything costs. So it's
a great idea until the numbers drop.
I'll tell her later.
Yeah. So that's the best way to do it.
Here's what I think is kind of cool: is to have a guitar that was made in your birth year.
Hey, that's a great idea.
I remember the first time I picked up a 19 guitar. And I said, damn, this thing is as old as I am, and it's still in one piece, unlike myself. So that's my suggestion.
That's a great idea.
I have one.
You do?
Yes.
Does everybody have one? Do I just not know about this?
I'm so old. I can't afford a guitar.
No, I meant. I meant I had one that's Tony's birth year.
Oh, yes, you do.
She Les Paul, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Wowzers. Well, anyways, needless to say, a benefit of this has been I've been exposed to a lot of guitars that that I hadn't necessarily been looking for or looking at, which is really cool. Lots of different obscure models and new builders and stuff. So, yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. I highly recommend just kind of going like, I'm going to look for a thing and then just going down that rabbit hole just for fun. Why not? Right. We all got time now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do some of this over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
Hey, Jared.
Yes, Tony.
Did I hear you right earlier that you bought one of those unipedals from 29 Pedals?
Absolutely, man.
How are you going to make that fit onto your pedal board?
Well, I got to squeeze it in there somehow, but I know I'm going to use Tour Gear Designs flat pedal cables to make it happen. They start under $6, like $5.50 or something like that.
That sounds outstanding.
That is mighty cool. And you know where you can get those really easy? They ship mighty fast. Go to tourgeardesigns.com/discount/the guitar knobs. And not only will they get there fast, but you're going to save 10% on your entire order.
Nice.
Any cable that they have, you just put them all in your basket, and then you get the cables, and then you put them on your board, and it's a fantastic gift for yourself or for somebody else. So check that out, tourgeardesigns.com/discount/the guitar knobs, and get that 10% off. All right, Doug, founder of 37 FX and many other things, give us your 4 on the floor.
All right, here we go. I've been looking forward to this. So we're going to start off with a treble boost because I love putting a treble boost into so many different pedals. My favorite treble boost is the Cattle and Bread Naga Viper. I love the versatility of that pedal.
That has been on several times.
It makes sense. It only makes sense. It is such a great treble boost because it's got more than just a treble boost. You've got the heat and the range and the boost. I think those are the 3 knobs. So you can have it do a lot of different things. Just playing through it, or again, parking it in front of other pedals. It just enhances the sound. And I absolutely love it. So I recently got an AC-15, which is my favorite amp of all time. Not that I've played a lot in my musical rebirth, but the Vox is me. And playing that treble boost through that Vox is absolute beauty for me. So
which model AC15 did you get?
Oh, come on. They put me on the spot here because I'm like supposed to know that. It's the C1. It's
CC.
Yeah, that's the one.
Those are great amplifiers.
I'm so impressed. I mean, I've had a few Fenders. I had the bass breaker, and I've had a Blues Junior, and I love those. But this thing speaks to me. Like it's me. It's the music I want to play, and even just the noodling sounds great. So yeah, absolutely love that amp. So that's number one. Number two is
just real quick on the Cadlin bread tip here. I've talked to them before. I tried to get them on the show, and it didn't work out at the time. So I'm gonna have to hit them back again because they need to be on the show.
Stuff.
Yeah,
I could have 4 of their pedals on the board and be happy with it.
Yeah.
Their stuff is so good.
Been around a long time too.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So, all right. So number 2 is one of your favorites you've had on a bunch of times is Lolligator FX Canalia.
Oh yeah.
That was the first of that style overdrive that I ever bought. Became friends with Sean Wright. Shout out. A beautiful dude. There's nothing I can say. I can't say enough about that man. He is so giving and just a great dude to talk to about whether it's pop culture, current events, or pedals. Great dude. So the Canalia, I got that thing. Obviously drawn to it for the looks. I mean, talk about a unique looking pedal. Mm-hmm. You can't get more unique than that.
And then you plug it in.
No, exactly. That's the thing. It's a work of art visually, but then you listen to this thing and play it, and you can go from 0 to 5,000. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can use it as a mild overdrive, and then just blow your amp up with it.
It's a dragster in a box.
Yes, it is. It is, and it's a beautiful pedal. Absolutely love it. And to go back to the Naga Viper, put that in front of a Canalia, and it sings. I mean, the thing just...
That's a great combo.
See, that's what hooked me on the treble boost, honestly, is when I popped that in front of the Canalia, and then I hit it, and I was like, okay, this is it. So, definitely.
What color is your treble boost? Or, I'm sorry, your Canalia. Sorry, my bad.
It is red. I had the denim, but I had to sell that one due to circumstances. We've all been through that. And I reacquired it through a trade with friend Will Lehue. I love you, buddy. Reacquired it. He was actually getting a custom, I think it was one of Sean's new custom blues or greens. I'm not sure. So he was looking to move his old one. So we struck up a trade. So mine is red now, and I absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So number 3 is, I've mentioned in the past 1,000 times that it's funny. My Fat Guy Little Code is a fuzz, but I'm not the biggest fan of fuzz. But one of the fuzzes that I am a big fan of is the Daredevil pedals Northern Creeper.
Mm-hmm.
It's just old school rock and roll noise.
Yeah.
There's another pedal I can't say enough good things about. You turn that on and it allows me to make the music I like to play. It may be crappy when I play it, not the pedal, but me, but the noise that comes out of my amp thrills me and excites me when I use that pedal.
Yeah. It's a great looking pedal. Johnny makes some fantastic looking pedals.
He's an original. He is a unique dude. I love listening to him. He was on your show, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's been on your show. I listened to him on the Tone Jerks. He's got a unique perspective on things, and he just seems like, he's the guy I want to hang out with. I want to sit down and have a beer with Johnny because it's got to be the best time, because he's super knowledgeable. He's old school rock and roll like me, and, it would just be cool. But the Northern Creeper. And then last but not least, to get away from drives and fuzzes, it's, believe it or not, it's not the only Boss pedal I've owned, but it's the first Boss pedal I bought for myself, which is the DD8, the digital delay. I got it because, again, as a home player, I'm not trying to impress anybody but myself. Some people have their beefs about digital delays, and I understand that. I've owned some analogs, and I agree that, for what they do, they do sound, however you want to phrase it, more pure or better. But the versatility of the DD8 is what I was looking for. I mean, it's got a looper in it. It's not the best looper, but it's a looper that I can use. It's got a bit of an ambient wash to it that you can set up. It's got tape delay. So it's got a lot of different things you can mess around with when I'm doing my noodling. So it ties in well with the other pedals or on its own, so yeah, that's my 4. That's what I got.
Right on. I can get behind that 100%. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of good rock and roll sound going on in there, man. I dig it.
Excellent.
Thank you for sharing your 4 on the floor, man. Let's get on with talking to you about some other stuff.
Let's do it.
Thanks for not leaving, Doug. We appreciate it.
It takes more than that to scare me off. Trust me.
We haven't had an Irish goodbye yet, and this would have been the perfect opportunity to do so, I suppose. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have Doug Christ, the founder of 37 FX. We actually just featured that on a 1 Minute Wonder on the Instagram. If you want to check that out while you're listening along, and he's got this fantastic little fuzz pedal, little mini fuzz, and it just sounds really, really great. And we want to find out how you got yourself into making these, and some of the inspiration behind that big endeavor. So,
yeah,
have you always been electronically inclined?
Yes, I would say yeah. I have an electronics certificate degree that's 35 years old, so the rust is still very thick on it.
Wow.
So back in the day, that's I did go to school for that. Ended up becoming a copier tech, so the electronics went out the window. They convince you when they hire you that you're going to use the electronics, but that's all nonsense. All you're doing is you're carrying a vacuum and getting your hands dirty. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So yeah, I've definitely always been that way. I've said before, I thank my father and my grandfather for instilling the joy of tinkering in me. They were both tinkerers in their own way. My grandfather, he worked for Sperry, which they were a defense contractor, among other things, back during World War II and before World War II. And he built a transistor radio for my dad from scratch with like Bakelite sides and all the guts, and it worked. I was able to use it. That's how well he built it. So he did that. My dad's focus was cars, but he could also build anything. Like if he came up with an idea for something, he could build it. And some of that stuck, some of that didn't with me, just because I'm generally a lazy person. But so yeah, that love for tinkering came from them. And when I get back into playing guitar, I took again about a 30-year hiatus for no other reason than I'm not smart. But I put it down after college and didn't pick it up, and I have no good reason why. And it's probably one of the biggest regrets of my life. But about 3 years ago, the bug hit me big time, and my wife for my birthday let me get a guitar. So I got, it was like 2017. Mm-hmm. I got back into it and, started playing again. Started listening to the Gear podcast. You guys were the first ones.
Yay.
Yeah, it was cool. I had just started getting into podcasts, and the natural progression when playing the guitar is to look for gear-related podcasts, and I came across the Guitar Knobs, and I've been a fan ever since. I mean, so
we sure appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with my path. The path that I've taken definitely is listening to your casts and the other casts, but especially yours in the sense that the 101s and just the small and large builders that you've had on. Mm-hmm. It's a big influence when you listen to that stuff. And it helped me believe in myself at a time maybe when I wasn't doing a good job at that. So, again, started playing. Got the bug. I've always wanted to build a guitar. I just don't have the physical resources right now to do that. The tools, the space, things like that. So the next logical thing to think about was pedals. I mean, you could do that on a kitchen table, which is where I started. So, bought some kits and, like I said, that rust from that electronics degree started falling off a little bit. And at least I remembered, what a resistor and a capacitor were and started building stuff. And, I think that the fact that, when I built my first pedal, it worked right out of the gate, and that most of the pedals after that did, that obviously is a confidence builder. And then it led, this year being in quarantine, I was lucky. I switched positions within my company that allowed me to work remotely at the same time as COVID kicked in.
Wow.
So the complete pressure to have to show up at the office is gone. I mean, obviously we have to follow the rules regardless, but there could be that pressure hanging over you that eventually you're going to have to go in. Well, that was removed, and that was a big relief for a lot of different reasons. And it did allow me to devote some time after work to doing this. And I set a goal for myself, just personal. I wanted to build a mini pedal. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's more difficult to fit everything in that little enclosure than it is a regular size, shall we say. So I wanted to build a one knob fuzz. There were some circuits out there that I liked. Obviously it had to be simple, but I wanted something I enjoyed. So I put this thing together for myself, and actually didn't call it the Fat Guy Little Coat at first. I think I called it the One Knobber Jobber or something stupid. But then the name came to me, and that's how my creative process, it's usually not intentional. It'll come. I'll have nothing up till the last second, and then something will come. And then I'm like, I don't know, maybe the movie was on, maybe Tommy Boy was on, I don't remember. But I'm like, Is that
like East Coast saying maybe it was on, maybe it wasn't? When that's just you're saying it for sure was on, and don't ask any more questions. Maybe you shouldn't go down that alley.
Exactly. We don't need to talk about that. Okay. That's an area we're going to leave alone. No. So I said, "Oh, Fat Guy Little Coat." Like, that's appropriate because that's what it is. It's a little pedal. It's got a big punch. It's a fat guy in a little coat. This is great. That's what I'm going to call it. Still with no intention of even trying to sell it or anything. And I posted. I took a picture, some pictures of it, and I posted it. I think in the Tone Jerks Facebook page. I think it was that page, and like the response was crazy. Like, everybody, I want one. And I said to myself, well, you know what? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe I should look into this, And I started, I held back again because just of self-doubt, not crippling, but, I had never ventured out this far in my life on something creative like this. And, I finally decided to do it. I let the word out that I was going to make 5 of them, and they sold in 15 minutes. They were all my friends, from the gear community. But they sold, and I built them. The original 24 or 25 were done with Vero board. So, it's a lot of labor involved in that. I absolutely love doing it, but they all sold, and I started getting great feedback. And that was another hurdle that I was able to overcome. That was, even when I was selling them, in my head, I was going, oh, these are my friends. They're buying them because they're my friends. But I started getting the feedback that people were digging this thing. And again, confidence builder. So it's blossomed from there. I mean, that's the roots of it. And, it's definitely in 6 months. It's been 6 or 7 months now. Things have certainly come a long way.
How many models did you have to go through before you said, all right, this is ready for anybody?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, it's based on the old Color Sound one knob fuzz, the fuzz box. I've said from the beginning, it's a simple circuit, but it gets the job done. It's not mind-numbingly difficult. circuit, but I love the way it sounds. So what I mean, I took that circuit and made the changes again, because this was all for me at that point. I made the sound changes that I liked. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of fuzz. It's not like I want to own all the fuzz pedals. I don't. There are some that I really like, and some that I could take or leave. So my goal with it was to make it a fuzz pedal, but sort of not. It's got that when you change that fuzz knob, you can get it ripping and Velcro-y, but it was important to me to be able to have a little bit of versatility, or as much as you could have in a one knob pedal. I mean, there's not a lot of adjustments there, but it was for me. It was for how I wanted it to sound. I mean, I'm a bedroom player. I got a room here in my house.
That's a pretty good gig. You go to other people's bedrooms and play for money? If they'll pay me, I'll play anywhere. I don't care where it is. So it's like I'm playing for myself. I want it to sound good for me, and in this case, people are digging it, and I'm over the moon about it. That's awesome, man. That's really great to hear. I love that story. And I'm not going to lie, I especially love that we're at all, related to that. That means an awful lot to us.
And it's 100% true. I mean, my friends are tired of hearing me say it, but I joke that it took me until my mid-50s to find my people. And I found them, and I couldn't be happier. This cool. Gear community, the podcast community, and the gear community in general is so giving. And I know you've had other guests that have said that, and they're all right about it. Everybody is so giving. There's no competition. It's someone sees. Let's talk about John Esterly just for a second. I mean, he's such a cool dude, because he immediately reached out and offered any help that he could give. The list is endless. I mean, I was able to take the pedal to the next step with a PCB because of Alex from Copper Sound Pedals. He is one of the coolest people on the planet Earth. All right. I got to say that, because when I created the 37 FX Instagram page before I had the website, when I quote went public with it, it wasn't even a day. And he private messaged me just saying, "Hey, welcome to the crew. It's great to have another Massachusetts builder," because he's here in Mass with, 35 minutes from where I am.
Right. We guys all live on the same block, right?
Yeah, no, every pedal builder. It's like a gated community.
Same beach house.
We bake apple pies for each other, and borrow cups of sugar. The whole thing. Right. So and he reached out, and then a couple of days later, we were talking more about the pedal, and he's I said, and I used that line. I said, it's a simple circuit, but it gets the job done. And his response was, "Well, when you're ready to get fancy, let me know." And I said, so we started talking, and he offered up his design services. So Alex, besides the amazing pedals that Copper Sound builds, world-class stuff we're talking about, he does do design services. And I have my electronics background, rusty, but, as far as using CAD programs and such, PCBs, I'm so green, it would be 5 years before I could do it myself. So I worked closely with Alex, and we designed the PCB for the pedal.
That's fantastic.
So I was able to come out with the version 1.1, the PCB version, which obviously cleaned up the noise, a more robust power, even for a little pedal, just to cover power requirements and again, to cut the noise down and such. So, I mean, he's been with me. He's led me every step of the way. I mean, just because that's the way he does things. He's such a giving person. That whole crew over there, they're fantastic guys. I've gotten to hang out in the shop with them, and I can't say enough good things about it. It's funny. I was in the shop, the Copper Sound shop, the Friday before the triple graph dropped. Okay, because my PCBs had come in, and even as busy as they were getting everything ready for that Monday release, he had the time for me. So I came to the shop so I could put together the first prototype and test it. And they didn't tell me a thing. I didn't know what the triple graph was. And after spending like a couple of hours in the shop surrounded by hundreds of things, it was funny. I in there just I avert my eyes. I didn't want to look and ruin anything for them. So I couldn't tell you what it looked like when I left there. But
so you could probably feel the palpable tension in there. I bet.
Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, Jordan, and Alex were just working like the wind to get this stuff ready. You could tell they were excited about it, obviously. And but yeah, I mean, I could not do this interview without mentioning how integral they are to where I am, as small as it is, but how giving they are as people. And it's just a cool thing. Really is.
That's fantastic. I love hearing that. So you've got the Fat Guy and Little Coat pedal out there, and I'm assuming you're thinking of new things.
Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm shooting for. Well, I had originally talked about the end of this month, but that ain't happening. We're not even close. But end of February, early March. I'm going to be doing a treble boost. For me, it's the next logical step. Again, it's a tried and true circuit, but I'm doing my take on it. And so, yeah, again, I'll be working with Alex on the PCB version of that. We're going to go right out of the gate with PCB. I'm not messing with Vero anymore. It's just too time consuming and unreliable. Right. So yeah, the Tombstone treble boost is going to be coming out.
Oh, you got a name.
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. You can tell with the movies, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tombstone treble boost. It will definitely have a Huckleberry nod on it, because that is my favorite line from that movie. It's everybody's favorite line from that movie.
Best.
But that's my text notification.
It's for real.
Yeah.
That's
my
rad.
text notification is I'm your Huckleberry. So there will definitely be a very direct nod to that on the pedal. But yeah, the Tombstone treble boost, it won't be a mini. It'll be a regular size pedal. Could be an odd shaped, more trapezoidal, but something that'll still fit on your pedal board. I mean, it's a 125 style enclosure, but maybe in trapezoid form.
Wow.
Just to make it a little bit different, but it'll have that movie, reference form factor. It's something that I dig, obviously, with the movie podcast.
Yeah.
That's near and dear to me. So I want to keep that theme and have them all tied together. So
outstanding.
Yeah,
man, fantastic. And right on the heels of a recent, pretty recent release. That's great, man. I'm very excited for you. And, anytime anybody really locks into something, they're like, hey, I love doing this and it's going pretty well. It's exciting to hear, regardless of what you're making.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's fun. It's still fun for me, and it's not even close to not being fun. So I want to keep doing it. Why not? Yeah. It's nice to have, a little bit of cash coming in from the side. It's not a lot, but, I will obviously never quit my day job, but it's fun. There's no pressure. And,
what's your day job, by the way?
Well, I work in I'm in a technical field. I'm a solutions consultant for a large copier company. So
okay,
yeah, but it's enjoyable. Again, it allows me. I service the whole East region, or my crew. They're not my crew; they're coworkers. We service the whole East region, so that's why I can work remotely, which again is a benefit for me. Because everything we're doing is. We talked about Zoom calls earlier. I mean, every day is a Zoom call.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's excellent. Now, we're going to scoot on over to the door across the hall. And I just wanted to find out from your perspective, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, so you don't have to retread an area that you don't want to, but, and obviously, Tony and Jared jump in at any point in time here. But I think we'd like to hear from you as an enthusiast.
Okay. I'd kind of like to hear who his favorite guitar knob is.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I love you all equally. Are you kidding me? I love every one of you. Though I do have to say, my daughter has a cat named Tony, and of course, he is Tony Baloney.
Nice.
His real name is Tony Pajamas, but we do call him Tony Baloney as well.
let me rephrase Tony's question. Who would you rather be stuck in a cross-country trip in a Mini with?
Yeah, that's not fair.
Who's responsible for uploading this podcast?
Let me put it this way. Who would you rather be stuck in a Brazilian steakhouse with?
There you go.
Well, I'm sorry, but if I wanted to eat anything, it couldn't be with Jared because there'd be nothing left.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, back to the totally unridiculous side of things. All right, Doug, as a listener of not just our podcast, but many other podcasts, cajoling and communicating with many other people in the guitar community, can you share just like kind of a pulse of how you feel about the community and things that you're experiencing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to understand that, so I played guitar back in high school. The garage band, we had our band anthem. That was my crew. We were Rush fans, obviously. And then I lost touch with the community. But even back then, pedals really weren't a thing. I mean, I had my Son SL260 and my, knockoff Gibson Les Paul, and you turned it up and turned the gain up. And
I thought for a second that you named your kid SL260, and I was like, what?
My son. Yeah.
I have my son SL260, and I was like, wow, you are dedicated.
We got a prog metal band together. It's great. Yeah. So when I got back into things, it was all and still is all new to me, and that's what the podcast, your podcast, and again, the tone jerks and the tone control and the flippers, and I could list them all, the people that I love, but it helped, it opened a world to me. That's what you guys, good, bad, or otherwise, are responsible for where I am right now. My wife might think slightly differently about that than I do, but you opened a world to me, and that world continues to expand from week to week to week with the things that you guys bring to light and the people that you have on. Again, removing myself from the builder part of it, just the knowledge and again, that world that's open to me because of the folks that you have on, and they're also so interesting and just, fun to listen to. That's been the most important thing to me. I started listening to podcasts in general at a time when I needed to have distractions in my life in order to refocus, let's say. And once I got into the gear podcast, it just, everything fell into place. So, I mean, that's I don't know, that's what I got.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that, you are, it's causing you to explore. That's one of the reasons that I like doing this, because I get exposed to some new builder all the time, and that leads me to another. So,
yep.
It's
exactly
pretty fun.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to hop back over the hall really quick, because I did have a question for you. And again, Tony and Jared, if you want to jump in, please just butt in. Don't let me get in the way.
You're always in the way, Todd.
I know. I did want to find out, okay, as somebody who decided, you know what, I'm going to roll my sleeves up and do this. For anybody that's listening out there who might have been in your former position, what would you say to them?
Again, I mentioned it earlier, is I don't even want to classify it as self-doubt, but just, it's a natural human instinct to a lot of times to be afraid to take that leap. And that's the thing I think is most important. If you're able to, take that step over the line and start doing it, you're going to open up that world for yourself as well. In a practical sense, start with some kits. I mean, there are a million of them out there. So, start with a kit, You got to practice soldering. We talked about John Esterly earlier. He's got I think he's still selling them. He's got some practice PCBs that are just for soldering components into to get used to the process of soldering. So, get that to where you're comfortable, but don't be afraid. If it doesn't work, there are a million YouTube videos and a million communities on Facebook that can help you troubleshoot the stuff. But honestly, if it doesn't work for the cost of a kit, move on to the next one until you get it. And then the satisfaction and the joy that I had when, I put a kit together and it worked that's immeasurable to me. And that's it. Focus on things that you like. If you don't like fuzz pedals, don't build a fuzz pedal. If you, don't like an overdrive or don't like, modulation, don't do those. Build something you like. Build things that you like. A big hurdle that I overcame was moving from the kits. Once I was comfortable building a kit with a PCB, I did move to the Vero builds because there's more freedom there once you start to understand, how circuits are built and such. And it's a little less paint by number.
Did you have a resource that you really counted on to help you breach the that gap?
Yeah, stompbox.org. I hope I'm saying that website correctly. It is a huge, vast library of Vero builds of existing pedals. It's funny, if you go into Google and you search, let's just say, Cattle and Bread Dirty Little Secrets schematic or Vero, it's going to come up. If you look in the images, there'll be 100 pictures of one, and every one of those is going to point you to that website, because that's like the base. It's like the Bible for those kind of builds. And again, I feel awful. I don't know the gentleman's name who runs the website, but there are whole sections on troubleshooting. There are sections on the tools you need. There are sections on where best to buy the components you need. There are sections that they break down how to properly wire the foot switch, or for, different styles of wiring for the foot switch, and how do you, in general, wire a board. It covers from A to Z. And that's like, again, that's the encyclopedia for getting into that world. And I couldn't have done any of this without that. There's no question.
And that, that raises just a really high issue of just how much respect you have to have for some of the people who started making things without all of these resources, who, just played around, made it work. And I mean, today it is so much easier than it was even 10 or 15 years ago to try to find information. I mean, even on YouTube, I mean, if there's an appliance that needs fixed at home, chances are you put in the name and what's wrong, there'll be a video to show you how to fix an appliance. And then with all the things here for effects pedals, and even, working or modifying your guitars, it's incredible. But I think, I mean, myself, I have a great deal of respect for the founders that started all of this stuff, that didn't have all those resources.
Completely agree with you. I mean, and it's absolutely true. I mean, you do have the world at your fingertips with the web. The web gets a lot of crap, but there are a lot of great things on the internet as well. And if you focus on those, you can accomplish a lot. And real quick, I just looked it up. It's Tagboard Effects is what you want to look for. Tagboardeffects.blogspot.com. And that's where everything, it's great because it's broken down by the type of effect, whether it's a boost or a distortion or a fuzz. And then it's also broken down by original manufacturer. So you can find anything that you want there. And again, the assistance, it's set up like a forum as well, so that you can post questions and everybody jumps in and answers the questions for you. It's fantastic. Again, like I said, how giving the community is in general. And the stuff there goes back to like 2010, is when they started this. And that goes to what Tony just said about the pioneers and the start of it all. I mean, so you've got 11 years worth of of build information on this website. And then, and there are a ton of other websites as well. Once you start exploring,
DIYstompboxes.com. There's another,
yes,
it's almost like, it's like a folder based kind of scenario.
Exactly. No, I mean, the websites are no frills, but why that doesn't matter. I mean, the information is all there. The information and the knowledge is there. So that's definitely how I got my start. And look, I'm still at the very beginning of this. I mean, I have so much to learn. I mean, I started with a simple circuit. My second build is going to be a fairly simple circuit, and I'm starting to grow. But I want to focus on what I know, and then and build from there and grow from there. Mm-hmm. So I'm no expert, not by a long shot. I have more questions than answers by a lot right now, but I'm fine with that. I'm comfortable with it. So,
one thing I want to point out, and this, I think I'm going to direct this maybe squarely to the super duper experienced ones, the guys that have been in the game for a long time, people that we've had on the show that are well established, most of which who are doing what you said as far as like helping and sharing information. But the thing is that anybody that's coming up in anything, if you get a hand down to help you, you are so much more ready to forward that at a quicker rate. So it's kind of like the math on that. Somebody way up high reaches down. It took them a long time to get there, but the person that you just reached out to is going to be able to forward that faster, fast. And then the next person after that is even faster. So it's like this really crazy math thing of forwarding goodness,
Yes, no, it's definitely a very pay it forward.
Tony's shaking his head just like, God, Novak, shut up.
Say the word.
I know he is. I know. Everybody bears with me as I jumble for
I believe
words.
you're looking for the term geometric progression.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
Well, it's been really fantastic talking with you, Doug. And, as you know, our door is always open to you. So, we expect to hear more from you in the future. And
well, I can't thank you enough. I mean, I'm fanboying big time. This is crazy for me. No, seriously, it is. I mean, and again, it goes back to the community. The fact that I've had conversations with a lot of the people that do the podcast that I listen to. Now that I've become a little known, and even before that, they were always willing to have a conversation on Messenger or whatever. And it's been fantastic. But this is a huge thing for me. Like I've been telling people for weeks, I'm doing this because I'm so excited about it. So
that's fantastic.
It's my pleasure. Absolutely.
Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to get out?
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely, if you don't mind, I need to talk about the podcast real quick.
Please.
These are also relative to me. It's funny because the whole thing started a year ago. Last Christmas, the Flippin' Flippers do a budget pedal Secret Santa every year, and the stipulation is when you get your pedal, you're going to open it. You're going to either Facebook Live or at least record and post it in the Facebook group. So a year ago, I got my pedal and I did it. And I don't know, like 5 of the people in the group were like, I need to do a podcast with you. I need to do a podcast with you. And I have no idea why. I joked that I had convinced myself after, 15 years of living up in New England and ex-New Yorker that I lost my accent. But then when I listened to that video back, I'm like, oh my God, it's still there. I'm still a New Yorker. And so I am part of a couple of podcasts. One I just recently I was elevated to permanent co-host, which thrills me.
Nice.
The Just Surprise Me. Yeah, the Just Surprise Me podcast. You've had Joe O'Rourke from Like My Pedals on the show. So Joe and RJ Smith and Will Lehue, they were running that show.
Mm-hmm.
They had me guest on it so many times. They just decided to let me show up every week. So I still don't know why, but
familiar.
Yeah, it's definitely not everybody's cup of tea. We joke about it being sort of a crap show, but to put it nicely, but it's a fun time. It's 4 guys just chatting about stuff, pop culture, or, we do topics every week, and it's a great time. It's definitely not a family podcast, like I said, but there's still enough people out there that dig that kind of stuff, and I would definitely invite you to come listen to it. So that's Just Surprise Me.
Right on.
Then another podcast I just started, or I was asked to work with again, Joe O'Rourke and Eric Pabon. The three of us do Masters of the Cinematic Universe. So we do a deep dive. I think we're 9 episodes in now. We do 2 episodes a month because watching movies and taking notes takes a long time.
Yeah.
So we could not do it weekly. So we do 2 a month, and we do deep dives into movies. We've done, we started with Goodfellas, so we'll do the blockbusters. We did a little-known movie called Big Trouble. We did Mars Attacks, just to show you.
You mean
the
Big
bottom
Trouble
end
in
of
Little
it.
China, or just Big Trouble?
No, I wish it was Big Trouble in Little China, because that's also, say, top 20 for me. No, this is just called Big Trouble. And again, don't feel bad for not knowing it, because it was a crappy movie. And, we'll tell it like it is. That's the thing. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We'll tell it like it is if it's a good or bad movie, in our eyes anyway. But yeah, we've done Ghostbusters and Halloween, and we've done sort of theme for the time of year, and we're having a great time with it.
I love that. I'm excited about that because I am a movie nut when it goes like the deeper stuff, So
yep, exactly, and,
cool.
and that's what it is. We do the deep dive. We try to dig up as much trivia as we can. We don't just go to the IMDb page and pull a trivia from there. We're all doing our homework. So it turns out that every episode we each bring some trivia that the other two haven't heard.
That's awesome.
I'm
glad you told me about that, because I wasn't aware of that, and that's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's a fun time. I'm really having a good time with that. With the podcast thing in general, I think it's a great way to have fun and to get some thoughts out into the world and express yourself. So I mean, you guys obviously know that. So definitely.
Yeah.
And as I've said, you have an open invitation. If you want to do an episode,
I'm on. You send me the invite, or how do I do that? I want on.
No, you just hit me up with an email.
Okay.
When if you have a movie you want to do, just check what we've done, and we'll absolutely get it on the list. And we'd be thrilled to have you. We'd thrilled to have any of you, all 3 of you.
That's cool.
Maybe not at the same time, but no, it would be a party. But yeah, absolutely. That'd be like the best if you wanted to do that. The guys, they'd be over the moon.
Oh, cool.
To hear that. So
well, this has been a heck of a lot of fun, and we'll have to do this again. We're gonna mosey on over to Jared's part of town.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the point of which I sing a little ditty that goes like this. Would you rather?
That sounds oddly like mail call.
Oddly sounded like that.
Yeah, but that was so sweet in my ears to hear that live like that. That's great.
This week is very interesting, and it's one of those, you got to choose the worst of the worst, the better of the worst type of the thing. So you're at grandma's, and she gives you, I don't know, a couple $100, because we're back in the 80s. And she says, there's a guitar store down the street, and there's a couple, there's some guitars in there for you to choose from, and you get to buy one of them. So you're all excited, and grandma gives you the money, and it's all in ones too. So you get the money and you go down to the store and you walk in, and like it's like there's only a couple of guitars on the wall that you could afford at that point. Number one would be a double cut telly. Now that's one that I don't think I've ever seen before until you guys actually said, well, double cut telly. And I'm like, really? And I looked it up. So there's a double cut telly on the wall. Or there's a Dan Electro Longhorn. And you guys need out there that are playing this, you need to at some point look up what that looks like. Ew.
I mean, unless you like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Sorry for those people.
Tom Petty can get away with playing that, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then the Telecaster double cut.
Yeah.
That's a weird one to wrap your head around. Because it's like I'm seeing a Telecaster, but I'm not seeing a Telecaster. So make sure you look that up.
Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh well, yeah, there it is. But I'm not gonna.
That's a thing.
Say anything more about it. So.
Well, I know that we will all say enough about these things when we go around the horn. So Tony Baloney, why don't you kick us off, and we'll check in with Jared, and then over to Doug.
Well, between the two of these, I mean, to me, the double cut telly is an insult to the. I'll be blunt. It's
an insult.
I mean, I think that it's kind of. The interesting thing is it's almost close to like a Les Paul double cut.
Yeah,
that's an insult.
In terms of shape. But yeah, I mean, a telly to me should be a telly, and so I'm just not a fan. Now the Dano Longhorns, you guys are going to laugh, but I actually like those guitars.
Well, you like weird guitars. You specialize in stranger guitars.
And I mean, what's really cool about those, I don't know if anybody here has played them before, but I mean, there is like unlimited access to the upper frets. In fact, you can play, full octaves up. I want to say the originals had 24 frets clear. You can, almost play it like like an octave guitar if you capoed it at 12. And, so yeah, it was. I mean, you could play it all the way up. So, and to me, I've got a soft spot in my heart for Danos, anyhow, especially older ones, because they were just really. I mean, they weren't terribly great made guitars, but they were, an invention that came out, and really a product of inexpensive mass production of instruments. And they've got a sound of their own, and that's kind of why I like them. But yeah, I think between the two of those, I'm going to go with the Dano Longhorn. All
right. Any particular finish you prefer, Tony, in the Dano Longhorn? You
got to have the copper burst.
Okay, not the Paisley.
No, not the Paisley. It'll be copper. So the copper burst goes from copper on the edges to like a creamy off-white in the middle.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar.
Okay,
Jared.
Tony may not ever speak to me again after you hear my choice. So the Telly double cut? I mean, to me, why didn't they start making those a long time ago?
Because they came out with Strats.
Yeah, but those are uneven, offset. That the Telly is. I mean, actually, I don't see anything wrong with that. Yes, it does. When you first see it, you're like, well, I guess if you fill that space in that's gone, yeah, it's going to be a traditional Telly. But would I ever buy one? To be honest, probably not. Because I also like the traditional way the Telly, and I agree with you guys. That just looks better than that double cut. But actually, I don't see the double cut looking. I don't see it looking weird or off or just that bad. However, the Longhorn, I think the designer of that guitar just got bored and asked his 4-year-old daughter to design something. I mean, it really looked like I drew it. I drew it on this piece of paper on my notes for the Would You Rather. And it really didn't take much, effort. And it still looks like the picture on the computer.
There's so many things to comment on what you said. I traced the thing I saw, and it didn't take that much effort. So I don't like that guitar.
No,
it's bad.
Hilarious. Oh, yeah. Goodness sakes.
I don't like it. To just, in other words, I don't really like the shape, and I would definitely go with the double cut Telly. No offense, Tony Baloney.
Yeah. I am not offended.
All right.
Oh, golly. All right, Doug.
All right. Well, we'll start with the Longhorn. I've got so many things I could say about it. I'm just deciding what gets to the point as the quickest. So you look at that guitar and just picture a drone's eye view of a fat giraffe. Okay, so you're looking down in the giraffe, that neck, and then that ugly giraffe's head.
Yeah, okay, I see that. You're looking down at the giraffe.
Yeah, you're looking down from above. But it's got to be a fat giraffe because giraffes aren't necessarily fat. I mean, to Jared's point, it's like the designers said, "How ugly can we make this and still have people buy it?" Like they wanted to make it as ugly as possible. They're daring you to buy that thing, and I'm not taking that dare.
Started out as a bet.
Yeah. So the double cut telly, the way I look at it, it's no different than some of the paranormal or the alternate universe versions of a telly that they've come out with. It might not be the prettiest one of those, but it's not offensive to me at all. Like I don't mind it. I understand it goes against the tradition and the lore of a telly, but it's not ugly. It's all right looking for what it is. So.
Maybe without the guard, it would look better. It's just something about that goofy guard that they put on them that just looks wrong to me, I guess.
Maybe if they extended it, I'm not saying equal on both sides, whatever the geometric term for that is. Equilateral. But that on the left side, the curve on the top side, the curve of that pick guard. I understand that. So I could. What I would do is I would get it and I would have you make me a pick guard for it.
Perfect.
So yeah, I'm going telly. That's definitely mine.
Absolutely.
Well, something that I find, I was doing a little bit of looking up histories on the Longhorn, and that's a radical design. I mean, it is a really, really radical design. And something that kind of dawned on me, I don't know, maybe this had influence. It'd be really interesting to find out what the background of that design is. But that was the first one came out in 1958.
Yep.
And that's also a point in time where I think, the country was still somewhat enamored with like the sort of everybody was traveling like crazy, and it was the era of travel and flight and stuff. So there was a lot of Asian influence still coming out of the war, and so I'm just wondering if that had anything to do with that, because it is a very not Western design, or it's a very Western design because it looks like bullhorns. I'm not really sure. I'd love to get some history on that.
I will look that up for you because I have the book. It came from Neptune, the history of Dan Electro guitars. I will look that up for you.
Yeah, definitely share that on the next show. But yeah, there's just no way I could own that. As much as I do not like the double cut Telecaster, I just couldn't get myself to have a Longhorn. Sorry. Woof.
Can we have a Bella Leica instead?
Can we what?
Have a Bella Leica instead?
No. Weirdo. All right. Well, that was a pretty good one there, Jared. Good one. Okay, so we're gonna shift on over to Tony Baloney real quick because he's got a few people to thank.
Yes, I do. In fact, we're talking to one of them today. At this point of the show, we like to send a special thanks out to people who help make this show possible. These are our executive producers. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is an executive producer and how can I become one? Because it sounds like the best thing since sliced bread. Well, it is. It's better than sliced bread. I want you to go over to patreon.com/The Guitar Knobs. You can find several different levels in which you can participate, become a patron, a sponsor of this very podcast.
That's right.
Each Each level comes with a great bevy of thank you gifts, including, oh my gosh, T-shirts, barefoot buttons, stickers, picks. Keychains. Did I say keychains?
Yeah,
Keychains.
do it.
I'm doing it. There's all kinds of stuff. So at the executive producer level, you get all that great stuff. But there's one more very, very, very special thing. What is that, Jared?
You get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So a special, special thanks to these executive producers. Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, John Daly, Chris Carney, Darren Gregory, Doug...
Who's that guy?
Some guy. Doug Christ. Oh, yes, Doug Christ.
Troublemaker.
Michael Van Zant, Ken Sayers, Brian Robison, Michael Senchuk, Stefan Lamb, Johnny Knowles, Anthony Lanthrop, John Anglin, Tyler Bray, Brad Partridge, Chris Heidel, John Esterle, Doug Gann, Justin Jones, Brett Alexander, James White, Matt Hart, Liam Martin, James Pennington, Richard Kendall, Ty Carmen, John Williams, Michael DeLucio, John Jackson, Jason Roush, David Rando, Douglas King, Gary Cooper, Tyler Rhines, and Rob Saxby. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you all.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
What?
There's the upper echelon of executive producers. We call them our grand poobahs. These very special sponsors wear a fez while listening to the podcast.
That's right.
They're required to. I'm sorry. They're required to do this. So a special thanks to these grand poobahs. Mr. Jonathan Jerusik, Corey Nigro, David Kaminga, Cody Lane, Cody Foster, Sean S. Tommy Manasco, Mark Garton, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, and Tim Nowak. Thank you, one and all. And if I haven't mentioned your name and you still sponsor us on Patreon, I give a tip of the fez to you too.
Thank you so much, very much. All right, Doug, where can people find things to buy from you?
All righty. Well, the website's up. It's been up for a couple of weeks now. So it's 37fx.com. That's the word 30, the number 7, fx.com, because I don't make it easy to find me. I didn't think ahead on that one, but that's okay. So 37fx.com. Hit up my Instagram page. I'm always posting. Some people think too much. I drive me a little crazy, but I love posting the custom colors that I do with the Fat Guy, because that's one of the options is custom color. So we can talk about what you'd like for enclosure color and graphics and all that stuff. Makes it fun. So hit up the Instagram for a lot of pictures of that stuff. And then Masters of the Cinematic Universe on your favorite podcatcher, and Just Surprise Me. You can find those two and give them a listen. On the Just Surprise Me, you don't want to know what we make you do. The fezzes are easy. Okay, if you become a Patreon member on that show, we're not even going to talk about what we make you do. All right. Oh
my goodness.
And just so you know, for listeners of the podcast, for the foreseeable future, if you use the code word guitar knobs on checkout, you get 15% off.
What?
Nice.
Yep.
That's sweet.
Outstanding.
Yes, I'm happy to do it. I want to help a great group of people. There's actually quite a few Fat Guy owners in your Patreon list so cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. A lot of names. Well, there's a lot of friends on that list, but there's also a lot of people I know who've bought one. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, for anybody else who hasn't, use guitar knobs, 15% off.
Right on. Thank you so much. That is very generous, and that makes it a nearly impossible pedal not to buy. Everybody. Tony Baloney.
Why don't you just go over to pickguardian.com? You can find some of the things that I do. There's some stuff that you can order right off the website, but a lot of what I do is very custom, and it's best to contact me directly. Doug, didn't we do one of the Les Pauls in
yep.
I think it was Red
double cut tribute. Did a nice, beautiful red pearloid on my previously just black on black. So I'm absolutely
you did a
loving
red
it.
pearloid on a double cut?
Yep.
Black double cut?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh, it's hot.
Yes.
It's hot. Yeah. Go to the Instagram, Todd. Go to the Instagram. You got to dig a little deep, but it's there.
I feel like
It's there.
Yeah, okay.
You should have done that, but no. If just shoot me an email, let me know what you need. It's you can go a link on the website, or just go to info@pickguardian.com, and just let me know what you need. I'll take care of you.
Jared.
Well, if you got a new pickup, old pickup, any kind of pickup that's broken, send it to Brandon Wound Pickups to have repaired. Go to brandonwoundpickups.com. I sell new pickup sets that look old. If you got an old Gibson Les Paul Custom 1977, which is the year of my birth, and the pickups were robbed out of it years ago to put in hotter, crummy pickups, and you want those gone, let me know, and I will build you a pair that look like they belong with the T's on the bobbins. I do all sorts of cool restoration stuff like that. BrandonWildPickups.com.
And
I got a set of 59s in my EPSG, and they are outstanding.
Right?
They sound so good.
And you also
Absolutely.
do some very cool, unusual things too, don't you?
I do.
Like
Wide range.
Take it away, Jared.
I know, right? Wide range. I have noiseless Jazzmaster pickups, and I could pretty much do aftermarket anything. Just let me know what you're looking for, and if you want something special done with it, I can do humbuckers inside of a dog ear P90 cover, all sorts of weird stuff like that. So
nice.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Jared. You can shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram @guitarknobs. We would love to hear what's going on in your music world. You want to just share your thoughts on the show, or any of the guests that we've had on, including our friend Doug here. And anything that you send across to, I can direct to the other chaps, I will absolutely do so. So we thank you all for listening. Humongous thanks to Doug for making a great pedal, for supporting our show, and for being on the show tonight.
My pleasure. It was such a great time.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic guitar week, and subscribe!
Yeah.
Tony, Doug, you guys want to do this?
No.
Oh, yeah. It comes out. It's funny.
Jared.
Man, you just put it on the plate, put it in a micro, and then eat the food, and then you're hungry all day. So that's how the diet works.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been told I have a great face for radio.
Yes.
Me as well.
What a world. What a world. Did you eat all those cookies?
Exactly.
I gave half of the cookies away.
What?
We
Put them in the freezer. What's wrong with you? Give them cookies away.
Well,
You got Jared over here starving on his keto
And you're giving
diet.
them away?
I'm the master blaster. Drink another Shasta. My voice sounds good because it has to. There was no bologna.
That's not bologna.
No.
It's
I thought you were getting them a bologna.
Sopressata.
Wow, they sound expensive though.
Yeah.
No.
But it still tastes good. There's still fat and cheese and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a little different than paleo, but you're
That's
just getting
two
rid
of your
of
food
carbs.
groups.
Did you eat the bologna?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start over.
Yep.
Jeez.
Take 3.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs.